Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. This is Game Day Live, the Jack Hughes News Central, where there is no news because I haven't heard anything yet. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios. Sorry for the sarcasm, folks. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks blog contributor extraordinaire, Vinnie Parise, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network as the Devils are getting set to play the New York Rangers at the Rock tonight. But all eyes at the press conference on MSG. Vinnie, what have you heard so far, the latest? It's literally 6:37 p.m. Eastern. I figured we would have something by 5 because it's the dramatics. But what's going on right now?
What's going on is that there's nothing going on. They really haven't given an update on Jack Hughes. I thought for sure they would give one. I was called ignorant, stupid, every negative word you could think of for saying that I believe the Devils should have given an update on Jack Hughes if they know what it is. And I could not disagree more. I think I have every right. Every fan has every right to know what Jack Hughes is dealing with this injury and a timetable for return and all that sort of stuff. We saw how ignorant they were with Taylor Hall the year after he won the MVP. It's like people forget how upset they were when they didn't do that, but now it's okay for them to be quiet with Hughes. It just makes no sense. He's the franchise player. He's the future of the franchise. He's the best player. He's going to be the best player. He has the legitimate opportunity to be like a top 10 player in the NHL. And when he's taken out with an injury like that, where he takes a shift, grimaces the entire shift, and then goes back to the locker room and we don't see him again, I want to know why. Season ticket holders have every right to know why. This team has stunk for how long now? And there's just no reason for them to not let us know what's going on with a true glimmer of hope that the team actually has.
Well, let's ask the fans at Taj Lounge 973. Do you guys want to know what's going on with Jack Hughes? Do you guys know what? I don't know. I don't know.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
This Devils organization, it's like they script it either at 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. We waited 2 days to find out, at least say something. We see you guys waving your hats, saying hello, and say hello to T and Van and all those at Taj Lounge 973. Wait, do I recognize some of these folks here? Hold on a sec. Let me zoom in.
Even the Rangers
Let me
fans?
zoom in.
Even the Rangers fans?
Nah. You know what? Your arena is going to be knocked down, and it's going to be some kind of train station, the most famous train station in the world. We sort of had some audio there. But anyway, getting back to the subject matter right now, because this is very important, Jack Hughes. This may change depending upon what the injury is. I'm still refreshing my Twitter account. Depending upon what this injury is, if it's minor, okay. The season's lost anyway. Let it go for a month. He'll be back next year or maybe a little sooner. But if this is a serious injury, what does that do with the New Jersey Devils and the plans, and how do you attack it?
Well, I think regardless of what it is, he would be ready for September. He took a shift. Normally if it's like an ACL or something, like you know right away. And, he came back, he gave it a go. It probably was uncomfortable. And he's not playing tonight against the New York Rangers. Obviously, he didn't practice. He didn't take the morning skate. But, he's everything to this team. And people who just don't think that it's that important for us to know what it is just mind-boggling to me. This is the guy. If he doesn't pan out, then many people are going to be fired. And the team's going to be set back another 5 years. So how people aren't begging to want to know what's wrong with him, it will never make sense to me. Nobody can put it in any way that will make it make sense to me, unless they truly don't know what it is. But I mean, come on. It's a National Hockey League team that's had 3 days to figure out what it was, not 3-2. Or I guess Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3. So I don't want to hear.
At least say something aside from lower body injury. I mean,
I thought
this
we were
is what I
getting away
hate
from that.
about the NHL. This is what I hate about the NHL. I understand you don't want to show your cards, but at least talk to your fans. Talk to your customers. Say something. You don't have to give out medical, information, but just say that, Jack Hughes is in good spirits right now. He's recuperating. We will find out more. Something like that would have been fine with me.
Me too. If this were the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that's been consistently awesome for north of a decade, they're probably one of the model franchises in the NHL. If this were the Pittsburgh Penguins, we would know exactly what's wrong with Hughes already. We would have found out maybe yesterday morning. I don't care that there was an off day. Someone is available to let us know what's going on with Jack Hughes, and I just won't hear otherwise. It's just crazy to me that people think it's okay to not wonder what's going on with Jack Hughes and not think it's important to know what's going on with Jack Hughes. I mean, this is what has he got? 50-something points in 40-something games? He's on pace over 82 games for 45 goals. Are you kidding me? He makes an impact every single game he plays. That's a guy that I want to know what's going on with. It's mind-boggling. I almost don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's just disgusting. This team, I have such high hopes for the future. I know we've talked about that on this show many times, and that has not changed for me because of a couple bad games over the weekend at all. You know me, I always get ripped on for being Mr. Positivity. I am Mr. Positivity, but I do acknowledge that without Jack Hughes, a lot of it will be for naught.
Yeah, also, I just want to do a plug, if you don't mind. Good friend of the podcast, Rebecca Moose Morse, plays for the Connecticut Whale. Played many years with the Metropolitan Riveters. I just want to let her know that I'm having a Dunkin' iced coffee. They don't sponsor this segment but they do sponsor the PHF. The last F stands for female. Anyway, kudos to her. She actually has some kind of camp going on, the Moose Hockey Camp that she's putting out there. Any kids or adults that want to learn how to play hockey or get some instruction from Rebecca Morse, the Moose, just contact her. Follow her on Twitter and Facebook, and there's more information there. Just wanted to give her a plug. I almost want to join now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love Duncan.
Yeah, for sponsoring the PHF. I just made that up on there. The last F stands for female.
Yeah, I didn't.
But it's really Federation.
Federation, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the PHF. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Morse's. So that's really cool that you did that. In the Midwest here, Starbucks is more popular than Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
I like Dunkin' way better though. That's one thing for me, food wise, the East Coast does right is Dunkin' is better than Starbucks. But if Timmy's was here, I would probably be a Tim Hortons guy because I like hockey.
But for pre-gaming, no other place that Taj Lounge 973 that has catfish.
No.
It's got wings. Yep. If you want to go to traditional wings, burgers, they've got Taco Tuesdays after the game. They run that special. Most people don't even know about that. Yeah, $2 tacos plus the lobster tails. They got lobster tails. They've got beers, bottle buckets. They also got drafts. They've got all sorts of things. And you know what? The more the merrier. Ranger fans are learning that it is a cool place when they're traveling. Yes, I hate the New York Rangers, but guess what? The more the merrier. Maybe we'll convert one of these fans into becoming a Devils fan. Once they find out that their arena is going to be destroyed, the wrecking ball, Madison Square Garden is going to be destroyed. They're going to be homeless, and then they're going to try to play at Woolman Rink, and then only find out that the Devils ownership group actually owns it now. or they're managing it right now. That's the only thing I can come up with. That's how bad of a season's been, Vinny.
It's been a horrid season. I like seeing Ranger fans at Taj Lounge 973 though, because all of our money's green, and I like seeing Taj Lounge succeed. And I can't wait to get over there next season. So seeing these people enjoy themselves at the getting ready for the game, go there after the game for those tacos. You'd be foolish not to get tacos for $2 a piece after a New Jersey Devils victory over the New York Rangers. So we got Mr. Ranger fan standing up, ready to go. Hey, credit to you guys for showing out at Taj Lounge 973. Keep drinking those brewskis.
Only one Stanley Cup in 82 years? Not bad. Not bad.
Something like that.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. But anyway. All right, getting back to the game at hand. So Devils are without Jack Hughes. They're also without Nathan Bastian as well. Injured as well. I've had high hopes for this kid, for his effort, for his size, for his grit. I think this is a big loss on the power play. Who's going to step up and screen Shesterkin tonight, assuming that he's in net tonight?
Well, Michael McLeod and Nathan Bastian, or not Nathan Bastian, excuse me, Miles Wood draw back into the lineup. The only reason I might think it's Miles Wood, even though he's coming back from an injury and he's going to have a game off here and there as he sort of eases his way back. He's playing on the top line with Nico Hischier, which I just despise that move. But I'm not going to sort of try not to be completely, against this team the entire show. But I'm not a fan of Miles Wood playing on the top line with Hischier following the injury. If it was a couple weeks in and they needed a change, couple bad weekend losses where they blew a lead and got killed in the other game, stuff like that is okay. I'm not behind it, but on the power play, standing in front of the net, it is Georgiev in net for the New York Rangers. It is not Igor Shesterkin. So the Devils will face Georgiev
okay, so it's
again.
Georgie V. Georgie V's in net.
And the Devils have had luck with Ranger goalies, at least in their most recent game a couple weeks ago, getting 5 past them in the second period. That's Shesterkin. Georgiev's not as good as Shesterkin. It's actually not even close. So even though Georgiev would probably be the Devils' number 1, which is just sorry to say, but I'm excited to see how that goes with Nathan Bastian being out. Maybe McLeod steps into that big guy in front of the net roll on top power play unit. It could be somebody that we just don't even know, someone from the second unit coming up, and then you put Wood on the second unit. There are lots of ways to go about it, but I'm excited to see how they do it.
Yeah, and you know what? Depending upon the situation with Jack Hughes, here's the deal. The Devils need to fix their goaltending. They need to fix the team commitment to defense. Playing smarter, protecting the puck. With or without Jack Hughes, you still have to do these things. Yes, Jack Hughes is really, the franchise, the face of the franchise, but it takes a team effort to build a Stanley Cup contender. You can't just rely on Jack Hughes. And for this reason, injuries happen. Freak injuries. He's already had one earlier this season. This one, I would consider just one of those things. But right now, the Devils have some work to do. There's still that evaluation period to the end of April. Where does this team stand? Who's willing to sacrifice the team concept for the team concept of getting these goals against down further? I'm confident that the current coaching staff can do that, because whenever they needed to work on things and improve on, the power play has gotten better, but still needs to improve. The penalty kill at one point got exceptionally better. So these coaches are able to kind of turn things around. But you know what? The players, it comes to a point where Lindy Ruff needs to really start benching players, because that's the only times that they respond. If you remember Ty Smith, when he went out, the next few games he was on fire, as if like we saw the old Ty Smith.
Sunday too.
Jesper Bratt earlier in the season. You take a shift off, you're going to take a period off. that kind of mindset. But I don't think Lindy Ruff has to really have to do that. He shouldn't have to, but he's probably going to have to now because the excuse of this is a young team has really run its course at this point, Vinny. I think we're all kind of sick of it at this point. Yes, they're still young,
Yeah.
but they need to start maturing and stop making dumb plays.
They are young, but 2019, 2020, 21, 22. I mean, when are they not young anymore? They're always going to be relatively young. They're in the NHL. When you're old, you don't play in the NHL. So, I think experience is a lot more useful of a word than young. There is some inexperience on this team, and they're only going to add even more inexperience as the years go on, with guys like Luke Hughes and whoever comes up after him, Alexander Holtz, guys like that. Get a goalie, and I do think that would change a lot of the things this season. I know this last weekend was just a horrid weekend for the fan base in general because of the fact that they blew that game to Florida, and then they weren't able to complete the comeback against the New York Islanders, and both of those followed just the drubbing by the Boston Bruins, a couple nights prior to that. So it's not good right now. I saw that picture floating around of Nico Hischier sitting on the bench watching the Islanders celebrate. Hischier is one of the only people who hasn't quit. When they were down 4-2 against the Islanders, he's over there in front of the net taking sticks and burying a goal to get the team within one with a chance to tie it. That's a captain. Has he been an offensive guru in his career so far? No. But in the past 2 months, he has been. So, maybe that's his way of taking a step forward. And next year we do see a point per game player taking the 2C spot.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this. The player that's really disappointed me recently for I appreciate his effort coming off that injury, the jaw, but Dougie Hamilton's made some really boneheaded plays recently. Not smart with the puck, and you would expect better from a $9 million a year player. And I'm not asking him to score goals. I'm not asking him to lay hits like Scott Stevens. I'm not asking him much other than lead by example, dump the puck in, do the simple plays, do the plays and execute. That turnover, and Chico Resch pointed this out on Sunday, that turnover, using his backhand to make a pass in traffic instead of just using, while Sharon Govich on the left side was wide open, turning over the puck, and then the puck, going back the other way in transition, Siegenthaler was able to just, buy some time on the transition back to kind of slow it down. But Dougie Hamilton, if you're going to turn over the puck, and I know Chico said, well, the momentum, going the other way, but if you're going to turn over the puck, you have to be the first man back, and you've got to back check. If you need to take a penalty, take it. But don't let them get a clean shot on goal, especially when your goaltenders are not up to par to where they need to be. Not because they're not good, it's because they're just too young at this point. Nico Dawes in that situation. And I would expect more from Dougie Hamilton, but then again, I've never had a jaw injury like that. He hasn't been the same since he's come back. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I would expect more from Dougie Hamilton. Just we're not asking you to do much. Just make simple plays. Dump the puck in, at the very least.
Yeah, and Dougie Hamilton, he's mostly played for good teams in the last 5 to 6 years, between the Bruins, the Flames, and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Devils aren't a good team, and he's got to make an adjustment. The goalies aren't as good. Graves is great, but some of the forwards they're still developing. It's just not the same dynamic, and he's got to get used to this team. I do think year 2 will be significantly better for him, especially if he stays healthy. He's still young. I think he's worth the contract. I was happy when they gave it to him. I'm still happy that he has it. I haven't flipped on that. I don't plan on flipping on that anytime soon.
I don't think you can ever flip on that. Unless Jack Hughes, becomes a different person and doesn't show up, literally and figuratively, Jack Hughes is Mr. Hockey. That's all he thinks about. And you can tell in his interviews, he may sound like he's a surfer dude, laid back, all that, but you know he's got that intensity to detail with his game. You've seen his game evolve so much over this season. First with the injury, then he came back. I called him out for being Mr. Turnover, but as of the last maybe 4 to 6 weeks, he's really cleaned up his game. He's cleaned up his game to the point where, wow, he's a real leader on this team at age 20. You know, some of these players haven't cleaned up their games all season with the puck, possession and the puck management is what Lindy Ruff would say. You know, so go ahead.
Yeah, those are the guys that you rely on, and Hamilton's no different. I do think next year will be different for him, but then the team as a whole, we hope will be better. It's going to be interesting to see like where they land when it comes to the draft lottery and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to be great next year. I predicted them to come in 7th this year, and they're either going to come in 7th or 8th. Next year, you got to get into that 5th or 6th range. That's just where I'm at with this team. If you don't, then it's like, okay, Jack Hughes can score 100 goals, but if you still stink, like, what's the point? You know, you got to put a team around him that will help him get the most of his ability, and it looks like they're working towards that, but when they have a 6-2 lead, you got to hold it. I don't care who the opponent is. I know Barkov is like amazing, and like he scored 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of the game. Like, he's Barkov. You know, if he sure becomes 80% of Barkov, the Devils could win a couple cups if Jack Hughes keeps this up. You know, and that's 80%. Like, Barkov is great. You know, Florida's good, but you're up 6-2. You got to clamp down and really, really be better than that.
Yeah. Also, I just want to read off some of the comments. Jennifer Lynn in the Facebook Live. Ty Smith, bad season this year. Goaltending kills us. Ramona Rice. Hello, Ramona. Let's go, Devils. Ryan Mann. I find it hard to care about the injury. We're in the lottery. We're just riding out the last season. Jack will be healthy next season. Mike Rossi. I read this before. I knew I tore my meniscus in my knee before I went to the doctor. The doctor I went to told me it's fully torn. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say something on an injury.
Yeah.
And that's how fans feel.
It's not something that bad. It's not how every fan feels. I can promise you that. But, you know, some people, like, it's not even about the injury, though. It's about being like a world-class organization and telling people about your players when something's going on. Like,
I want to be informed.
Exactly. We give our life to this stuff. I mean, look at your background. How much did all that cost? A lot. You know, how much does it cost for you to even run this show? And you're helping promote that team for free, essentially. You know, we do a lot. Yeah. We want to know what's going on. And it's just
want to be in the know.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And lie to me. You know what?
Lie to me. I would respect that more. Lie to me. Tell me he's got this and he'll be reevaluated next week. Tell me, show me a little more, enough respect to lie to me instead of just ignoring me. Horrid.
You know what? You see, that's the problem, and that's just human psychology. See, the Devils are supposed to be engaging with their fans, not being like radio silent. At least say something. Say something that, well, you know what? While Jack Hughes is, we're trying to figure him out. Hey, we raised $800,000 for the Devils Youth Foundation at Woolman Rink in New York City. I was watching that whole thing. I like Catherine Bogart. I want to be on the record that she does Jersey Life. I think it's cool, but when she's doing Jersey Life in New York City, it just didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's, I mean, this is another podcast, and, you know, only got a couple minutes. We better do predictions, but let me finish this. That's the disconnect between this ownership group and the fans. They're not from Jersey. Even though David Blitzer was born lived in Scotch Plains, rumor has it he was a Ranger fan before he became a Devils fan when he owns the team. And it's just it's such a disconnect that it just seems like a couple rich guys owning a team. Like, this is the dive bar they bought together. And hey, we just signed Jack Hughes. Hey, we just got Nico Hischier to deal. Hey, we just bought this. Instead of winning at all costs. So that's just my 2 cents. And by the way, reading the Ben Simmons saga, I get a good kick out of it, but I don't want to get into that. All right, predictions. Enough about NBA basketball and trashing the ownership group. What are your thoughts today?
Yeah, that was hilarious. We could talk about that for hours on another podcast. But as far as predictions for today, I'm not going to pick the Rangers to beat the Devils. I'm mad at the Devils right now. I'm annoyed. Today was annoying. People make me angry. Like, how dare I want to know what's going on with the best player on my favorite team? I don't care. I don't listen to any of them. I think of the way I think, but I'm not going to pick against the Devils against the Rangers. Who am I even? I'm picking the Devils to beat the Rangers 4-2.
Okay. I'm going to go for even more dramatic because right now I don't even care what I'm predicting. It's going to be a Willis Reed moment when Jack Hughes comes out of the locker room limping because you don't lose to the Rangers. And Jack Hughes scores a goal in the first 5 minutes, and then he just sits the rest of the game. Devils win 1-0.
Yeah. That's an insane prediction.
Well, I want to thank all those tuning in. Remember, Devils After Dark after the game. Also, go to Todd's Lounge 973. It is Taco Tuesday over there. Just want to thank you guys for sticking around. It's tough being a Devils fan these days, but guess what? We're Devils fans, and we love the New Jersey Devils. Devils After Dark after the game. Vinnie, thank you so much for taking the time out for Game 70. 12 more games. Game
there.
Day Live.
I can't wait for the draft.
Yep. And I want to thank all those at Taj Lounge 973. They all skipped out. They're at the game right now. We better shut up. Game's about to start. Puck's about to drop. See you after the game. Devils After Dark. Until next time, let's go Devils.